Welcome to Reckoning Life Pathway, a program where people nurture, and mature their life journey. This is a program where my guests narrate their life stories, their life struggles, their life motivation, and their life stories help to shape the lives of Cameroonians. Your host today is Dr. Busi Ernest. With me today is Barrister Mafany Victor Ngando, a learned barrister and international business barrister. Welcome, Barrister Mafany Victor Ngando.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I must say I'm happy to be here. I also have to encourage you for the great job you're doing so far, trying your own quarter of nation building. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I hope by the end of the program, our little contributions will go a long way to shape the minds and to direct the young people and even our senior brothers and sisters who have gone ahead before of us to analyze and direct the activities towards the right path.
That's very good. Thank you for appreciating me. We are all nation builders. As a barrister, you're shaping the life of this country as justice is concerned. Barrister Mafany Victor Ngando. Who is Barrister Mafany Victor Ngando?
I'm Bakwere. All that simply means is I'm a Bakwerian, and I from a family of 5.
Exactly.
Maybe 6. Due to the African context. In the sense that we have immediate siblings and step siblings. So 6. And I'm from a very humble background.
Very humble background.
Humble background in the sense that my father is a teacher and my mother is a teacher.
And that's why you're a very responsible barrister. I see you like a very responsible and dynamic gentleman and very respected gentleman. Barrister Mafany Victor Ngando, can you narrate to us your life pathways, your childhood, your early childhood experiences?
Very rocky.
How rocky were they? Narrate to us, right on.
Well, I didn't have the privilege to go to the big schools. When I say the big schools, the boarding schools, you know, and I had to do well with what my father or my parents could afford for me. So I went to a day school, but I grew up in Mundemba, where I did my nursery.
Where is
and
Mundemba
primary
found?
It's in Indian Division.
Indian Division, okay.
Yes, if there's one thing very notorious about Indian Division from the time as a young boy till now, is the roads. We used to push vehicles to get to Mundemba from Ekondo Titi, and when we want to come back to Ekondo Titi or Kumba, we still struggle. So I have images of those tough times, and I later moved to Kumba, where I completed my primary education.
Oh, come there, barrister. May we know some of the early life experiences in your neighborhood where you were put to birth? Where were you put to birth? Is it here in Boya or in Mundemba?
In Kongsamba.
In Kongsamba. So you had different neighborhoods you grew up.
Yes.
And what were some of the early childhood and parental experiences in your neighborhood in your early days?
Well, as I've said, the first thing is, as a young boy, we were exposed to the normal anxiety of life. Okay? That's a starting point. And secondly, I was forced to live in different environments due to the nature of my parents' jobs. As a civil servant, it's but normal for them to be transferred from one region to another. Explain
to us the different milestones, the different challenges, the different experiences in Mundemba, in Kongsamba, and other neighborhoods. And your peer pressure, were you affected by peer pressure, by friends, group dynamics, and positive and negative behaviors that affected your life in those early days?
Yes, and the first is I've always had, it's a wish of every young man to be born in an aristocratic family first. And I wasn't opportune to come from an aristocratic family. So you always have peer pressure, first from your mates who attend other institutions across the country. Secondly, you have to do with what was made available to you. What do I mean? There are days you trek to school. There are days you have to...
Were there days in your early days that you trekked to school without even eat without any food? Were there days that you trekked to school without even putting on a shoe? Were there days that you were driven that your hair was not kempt? Were there days that you went to school without a school uniform? We want to know those difficult challenges.
Well, for a school uniform, my father, particularly being a teacher, was very strict. He ensured that at least he always tells me, I have one thing to do for you to settle you, and that is to give you education. After your education, you take care of yourself. But there are days that you have to do well and manage one uniform. There are days you have to manage one pair of shoes or sandals. There are days you can leave the house early in the morning and go to school, maybe manage to squeeze a puff-puff on the road when you can afford it. And there are days, even if they give you the money, because as a young boy, you might engage the money in some youthful activities and you realize that you don't have your transport for the week. You have to trek to school. But the only thing is, you must be in school.
The distance from home to school?
Well, in Mundemba, the distance was from approximately, from those who know Nzan Division very well, there's an army barracks, so you have to trek from...
Was it a long distance?
It's a long distance. In Kumba, not very long, because the school was in Fiango and we live in Fiango.
So you're a Fiango boy?
Yes, practically I spent most of my life in Fiango.
So what were some of the top... I want to know some of the stressful moments in your early childhood.
Well, first, I never had the opportunity. I had to do well with what was available. Summarily, I wish I came from a very wealthy or well-to-do family. I always have to manage what was made available to me. So the stressful moments are making use of that opportunity you have at that time of your life, even if you desire or dream for more.
So what were some of the experiences that you encountered that were difficult?
Well, first as a young man, it was...
Did you ever go to school, you driven because you didn't have money for school fees?
Of course, I can't sit here and say that never happened.
Explain it.
So it's normal. In my early days, you have cases whereby you can't afford to pay the fees on time, which I wouldn't say it's peculiar to me. It's peculiar in the country. It's peculiar by the nature of
the lifestyle
and the living standard. So I can't say it was something that was strange just for me alone. We used to
How did you overcome that when you are in class and you are driven, and how did you psychologically feel when your mates were there in classroom and you were driven back home because of school fees?
Disturbing. It's like, this shouldn't be happening to me. It should be happening to me at this moment. It's like I should just go home and search my dad's cupboard. I had a feeling there should be money inside. Or search his trousers. I have a feeling maybe...
Were you doing that? Were you searching your father's trousers?
There are days I search his trousers.
You remove money there?
I will get money there. Unfortunately, he can't help me with my school.
And what did you do with the money? You gave him?
There are days I think that the money in the trouser could help my school fees, only to understand that can't do anything.
Were you beaten for doing
that? Of course,
that?
as a teacher, he moves around with his cane in his back. If you come back home late, you are flogged. If you are playing football so much and come back, you are flogged.
Did that help you nurture you to be better?
Yeah,
the flogging?
It gave me a spirit of organization.
And I can see that in you.
A spirit of organization. First, I'm the first child.
Wow.
And even till now, if I sit and talk with my father, Mr. Ngando Peter, he will tell me, look at the way you are enjoying me now. When I used to flog you, to organize you, you think I hate you. You think I love your sister more than you. You think I love your brothers more than you. But now you take care of yourself and you're organized. And that is what I wanted for my first child.
So look at the camera and advise young Cameroonians. What were some of the disciplinarian virtues that you gained from your father that you think that you can help young Cameroonians as a barrister? Well,
first, as an individual, I grew up in Fiango. And those who know Fiango very well.
So explain to us some of the experiences in Fiango.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. First, there is this high rate of youthful exuberance. You want to belong. You want to belong. You want to be there. It might cost you to even start spending late nights as a student. It may cause you to involve into alcohol very early. It may cause you to involve into drugs very early. It may make you to be very disrespectful and join wrong friends or associations. Some might take your life early. Some may derail you totally. And the only advice I can give to young people now is, in as much as there's a lot of, they say the 21st century,
yes,
a lot of liberty, and there's a lot of freedom, it's still incumbent of every child to ensure that the steps taken by their parents to organize them, discipline them, caution them, it doesn't mean hatred. It happened to me, but presently I can tell you, I thought my own biological father hated me till now. So the best advice I can give is listen to your parents. They have your best interests at heart. They may be a little bit archaic, you know, but we have to try and accommodate them with the present trend.
Barrister Mafany Victor Ngando, I want you to narrate us some of the schools, the primary schools you went to.
I attended PNS, that is it's a Presbyterian nursery school in Mundemba, and I attended Presbyterian school. I'm a Presbyterian, so I attended Presbyterian school in Fiango, those who know Fiango, opposite Brazaris, and later I attended the government bilingual high school in Kumba. Okay, we'll come there. I want us to narrate your primary school life. Who were some of the teachers that really nurtured you in primary school? I remember one teacher, Ekoko Solomon. I remember one Madam Evelyn. They taught you in what class? Well, I could only remember those at the level of the primary school. Yeah, those are the primary school. The nursery school, honestly. Those are the primary school. They taught you at what class? And what were some of the things that they shaped in your life? Well, Ekoko Solomon was very disciplined. In Kumba, PS Fiango, mathematics. Wow. Madam Evelyn, that's the name I can remember for now. Exactly. She was I was the only boy doing food and nutrition. Wow. People gave that another interpretation because food and nutrition, that's where you meet, that's where ladies are specialized. But I was the only person. So are you a good cook? I'm not a good cook. You're not a good cook? But I can survive alone. Wow. So what prompted you to engage in food and nutrition at the primary school level that much? Well, I didn't have any particular reason, but for the fact that I thought it was a subject I could score good grades. Okay, you had your you had your first school living certificate where, Barrister? PS Fiango Kumba. PS Fiango. Madam the producer, may you give us a jingle break? When we come back, we'll continue.